Welcome to the Great Lakes Smoke Podcast Show. What we talk about basically is the love and the passion of cigars, pipe smoking, tobacco, alcohol, brothers chilling out and having a good time, laughter.
Well, how else are you gonna, enjoy a nice bourbon?
And you kind of went animalistic on tobacco buying, haven't you?
And the Rocky Patel Pure and Simple. I don't know, that thing just tastes so good.
Aficionados, and welcome to the Great Lakes Podcast Show. We have another exciting week ahead of us, and we have been honored because of COVID. We've actually been able to lock down Luciano here for, I guess 5-6 weeks. We've been so lucky to have him.
We have been blessed.
We have been blessed, absolutely, and he's been bringing in so much knowledge that our Facebook page, PMs, and a lot of people are asking so many questions about what's going on. Our new listeners are jumping on board. A big help to Luciano has been given us because of his following alone. But welcome back, folks. We have a lot to talk about, and we're pretty sure you're going to be excited. We hope you all have grabbed a smoke. We all have one, or at least Bob and I have one. And we'll have some spirits. And
got yourself a bourbon.
There you go. And talking about that, we're going to be talking about leafs and bourbon and pairing. And
isn't that what we usually talk about anyway?
Yeah, but we're going to go deeper tonight, Bob. We're going to go deeper because
you mean we're going to drink more?
You can. So welcome, and all you new timers out there, and there are a lot of new ones. We'll do the regular introduction, talk about what we're going to do on the show, and then move on.
Here we are.
I'm Ron Pecorini. It's my brother Bob.
How you doing, folks? Good to have you back.
On the technical end there, sitting in the bar all by himself, there's Kyle Gesso.
Hey, how you doing, guys? I don't drink anymore.
Well, the other two are lonely right now, too.
I don't drink anymore, but I don't drink any less either.
Kyle, salute Kyle in the bar.
Then done.
And then we have our cousin Frank, who does a segment on the show, is Stump the Chooch.
What's up, buddy?
There you go. And what that is basically all about is he'll be asking questions basically to the three of us and making us look like, chooches. And then after that, he's going to go out and ask you a question for you, a chance to win. Go ahead, Bob.
We have a really nice pipe tonight. This is a real beauty, isn't it?
I like it.
I like that nice colored black color on this. It's rusticated. Very pretty pipe. It's a smaller billiard, but does have a nice size bowl on it. Pretty nice. Fishtail on the bit.
And that's nice. From one of our
very light
sponsors.
Too. Nice and light.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
That's from the Chicago Pipe Club, one of our sponsors of the show. And that is from Tim Garrity, who is the secretary. So
thank you, Tim.
Yes, indeed. Frank would love to give that away to you, but he's not making it easy anymore.
We gave away too much.
He's going to make it hard, and he's going to make you either a chooch or a winner. But tonight's special guest, once again, we have the one, the only half owner of Ace Prime, Luciano. Hello, Luciano, and how are you today?
Hello, my friends.
Lost audio.
Hey,
here we go.
You guys,
how are you?
Yep,
I'm doing
loud
well,
and clear,
friend.
buddy.
Doing really well. Doing well. Good evening, Frank, Kyle, Ronnie,
Good evening.
Bob. Good to be here tonight, as always.
Good to have you.
Hey, are we live, by the way, Kyle? I don't see anything on Facebook.
Yes,
we are live. Yep, we are.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Sounds good.
So how you doing, buddy? What's going on? What's happening in the industry?
Well, nothing new from last week. We are facing, lots of challenges. Nothing changed much. I believe that the big events will definitely happen next semester. There's a lot of expectation to what's going to happen in September with the deeming regulations and other related topics to the premium cigar industry. But I'm here, man. I'm here. This quarantine at this house, I'm being very strict. Haven't left this house for almost nothing. Just went to do some groceries the other day. All messed up with clothes and careful, keeping distancing.
Yeah.
Well, next week we might actually quarantine somewhere else. We're trying to go south and spend some time nearby by the ocean to see if we can clear our heads a little bit. It's some tough times, some tough family times now. My father-in-law is not doing well. He's dealing with terminal cancer, and it's always hard to deal with. But
Sorry for your situation.
but being shows like this, man, it's always re-energizing for me. I really enjoy seeing you all. I wish we could be together.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that we can, take this opportunity of using technology to create proximity.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. In fact, I did get a little taste of freedom today. I'll be honest with you. We went shopping and we went into a neighboring state that is wide open, and it was so nice to sit in a restaurant. It was wonderful, the place was open and serving. I had all the precautions, had plexiglass, now partitions and stuff, and everything is sterile and clean. But just to be able to sit down with other people that you can see, and have a meal.
Yeah, yeah.
It was good. It's, you start to sense that normal feeling again,
That's right. That's right.
But it's gonna come soon. We'll all be there once again.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the day that I can go and sit down with everybody and have a nice cigar or pipe and just relax and enjoy a good conversation, strike up conversations, meet somebody new as I always do, and just keep it going. That's what I miss the most.
We miss you here in studio. I'm this empty spot here next to me. That's where you should be.
Here, I'll sit over here. I'm closer to you now. So how's that?
All right. There you go. Nice job, sweetheart. Anyway, well, thank you very much. Come on again, Luciano. I know we've been pestering you, but we know that it's just a matter of time that you're going to hit the road, and it's going to be difficult to get hold of you as much as we have. But we do appreciate.
People's gonna start getting tired to see my face, Ronnie. It's your fault.
Maybe your face, but not your knowledge. How does that sound?
You have educated many people during the last 5 weeks. Is it 6 weeks?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people have truly gotten more involved, more educated, wiser about what they're smoking. Thank you to you. I mean, you really have, I think, brought people
appreciate
up
the words,
a notch
man.
or two. Well, yeah.
And you guys bring
if
a
you
lot
can't
to
do
the
it,
table
nobody
as
can.
well. So,
Well, the
you
thing
guys
is,
bring a lot to the table as well.
Thank you. We do have a lot of pipe people, and just last week alone show about cigars was you blew them away. You absolutely blew them away with the deconstruction and the explanation of the cigar itself. And it actually said, you know what, I want to get more into smoking cigars. So you really did make something happen for the cigar industry. Overall tobacco, I mean, right now everybody's probably smoking more cigars than ever because for those who are home.
More time. People have more time on their hands, of course.
Yeah.
But not only that, I mean, you could be a smoker, and you know what you like, because your palate will dictate whether you like this particular flavor or not. But a lot of people have never really gotten the real education about what's in it that I'm smoking, and I think that's what you have really brought to light when you show people those leaves and the way, in the manner that they're put together. I think it really opened up a whole new world for people. It's not like, okay, that cigar looks nice in the box and I think I'm going to smoke that tonight. But you have now told people this is why you like that cigar, And I think that's important.
Absolutely.
A lot of people never know,
Yeah.
and people
one of the
buy by
things,
sight. You know that a lot
yeah,
of people buy by sight. They look at something, say, "Oh, that looks kind of nice." I like whether I like the band, I like the color, and it's
But
what
they
go with.
understand what a cigar is now made of.
Well, that's it. Now you know why you like that.
And that's one of the reasons why we're going to bring you on tonight, Luciano, is a little further education about cigars. And like, we would like to have you explain what leaves make a cigar a certain type of cigar. And that's a lot of education, a lot of words that people never even heard. But again, from last week's response, they're willing to listen to you and learn a whole nother language.
And are there certain leaves that just are a no-no that you don't put together?
there are leaves that don't blend with each other. But just addressing what you said before, Bobby. So I don't know if you remember, we've been, I mean, society have enjoyed wine for many, many years. So we all, every single, especially in Europe, the culture of wine is extremely present. But here in the United States, only about like 20, 25 years ago, you saw a boom on the consumption of wine. Of course, California vineyards had a huge influence in that behavioral change. But it wasn't as popular as today. And the reason why wine is so popular today and there's more consumption of wine, it's because people start understanding wine. So it's so interesting how now people like even to brag about their wine. So they like to say, "Hey, I'm drinking this vintage or this grape or from this vineyard," and everybody now have some kind of knowledge on wine. At least they know what they like and they know where the grapes come from, what kind of grapes
Yeah,
they are.
they understand the regions and the wine that's produced in those particular, though the grape that's grown in those regions. Yeah, yeah.
That's
Again,
right.
an
And
educated consumer.
exactly. And that's why I believe educating the consumer, telling, trying to really, I don't like the word teach, but trying to share knowledge about cigars, I think is extremely important to uh, really help and empower the consumer to make the right choices and to enjoy enjoy more cigars. I think that's the key here, and believe it or not, some things, of course, because they are new to majority of the consumers, it sounds like a big surprise, like they get really impressed. But some things, I mean, we deal on a daily basis and it's just part of our day-to-day operations at the factory, and the conversations on the distribution side as well. But I'm very, very happy, to be able to share more about cigars, and it's because of channels like you guys, like what you do, because of the shows, the podcasts, that we have the opportunity to do that. That's why I'm extremely thankful to be invited quite often to this show, and I'm always happy to be with you guys.
I mean,
Well,
you've been
we
on the
thank
show
you
so
for that.
much. We're gonna start putting a credit in the end credits. Luciano is our guest.
There you go.
I think what's great about tobacco is that it shares the same type of history as grapes do. So they share that because it's regionally based. Flavor profiles actually do come from the regions and soils and climate, altitude. So you have all of that. So it's amazing. I took a couple of somm classes, so I love wine too. So for me, it's always nice to make the comparison that you do share that varietal that tobacco has with grapes.
That's true, and I think actually that the tobacco processing, it's very underrated. I'm not saying that grapes are not complicated as well, but there's so many factors that influence the production of a cigar. People have just no idea. but it's not just the climate, the soil, the region, but also the way we process, for how long we process. It's from the hanging barns to how you sort it and how you stack them and how you build the piles and for how long you build the piles, how many times you flip those piles. It's a lot of manual work. Most of the vineyards all over the world, they have so much technology these days, right? So they have all the huge barrels now, and everything is automated. They have, if you visit a modern vineyard, or even like an ancient vineyard, all the equipments are like top notch. I love to go to the Bordeaux region of France, and when I go there, I'm always at awe of the new technology they implement every year. So basically, you almost don't need human interaction beyond harvesting. Harvesting is still something that cannot be machine made with grapes, but everything else, it's basically done by technology. Now, on the cigar, on the cigar spectrum, it's a completely different process. Everything is done by hand and solely by hand. And the reason why is because people have tried many times to replicate that process by robotically or by implementing new technologies, but they never accomplish the results that we can accomplish by just using human hands, by just having all these people that we have involved in a process. So that's what makes it extremely unique. And sometimes people complain about how much they pay for a cigar, but they have no idea the amount of work that's put into a premium cigar. It's years and years and years of processing, and from seeding to the final product, it's a few years, and all has to be very carefully planned. And again, so many lives involved. So you're talking to a passion tobacconist.
Got it. So talking about the creation of cigars, we talked earlier, what kind of leaves really do pair well with that, and would that work and don't work?
So you mean pair with each other or pair with a drink?
Like no, let's actually
combination blend.
Let's do the leaf pairing as far as what works best. So, what
there are obviously some leaves that work together very well, and some leaves just don't work together.
That's right. That's why we use the term blend. So you can only blend what is blendable, right? I don't even know if that word exists. Sure. What you can blend, right? So I can give you some examples of leaves that don't blend at all, and some that blend perfectly. Many years ago, we tried to create the blend with a Cameroon wrapper, and I noticed that the Cameroon wrapper is extremely thick. It's a huge leaf. It's one of the biggest leaves. They use a lot to kind of roll marijuana. That's kind of the big market for Cameroon wrappers.
Okay.
Wow.
But the Cameroon wrapper, it's very thick, resistant, and it has a lot of personality to it. Another wrapper that has a lot of personality is the San Andres wrapper from Mexico. I've been trying to build a blend that takes San Andres and Pelo de Oro. I've been trying, in many ways. Sometimes two leaves don't combine together. They need a third element to actually make sense of that blend. And we'll talk about this later, but from a philosophical standpoint, is what we call the ultra pairing. So you bring two elements that would not be able to kind of pair by themselves. So you need actually another one to create a true harmony, a true blend, right? Mm-hmm. I can tell you that if you try to blend San Andres or Cameroon wrapper with Pelo de Oro, it's going to be a disaster by itself. I've been trying to use small quantities of Pelo de Oro into blends taking San Andres. So far, I got to nothing. And so I don't know of anyone who have ever been able to do that. But if I could explain in a very simple way, it has to do what you just said, Bob, which is the soil, the chemical composition of the soil. that leaf is coming from. So if I get a leaf that comes from a region that has extremely rich in sulfur because it's close to an active volcano, or a volcano that's not active, but it has still a high concentration of sulfur in the first layer of the soil.
Volcanic soil, yeah.
It's a very rich tobacco, but some regions that have that sulfur has also extreme salinity at the soil, sodium chloride on the soil, and potassium. And the combination of these three create a very sour leaf. If I try to create a pure cigar of a region called Ometepe of Nicaragua, which has this characteristic that I explained to you. Actually, Ometepe is a volcano by itself in the middle of the lake, but it's a volcano. And if you see all the plantations, they plant everything there, from banana to tobacco. But the tobacco comes out a tobacco that has a lot of personality. It's a lot of salinity and a lot of sulfur. If you try to make a cigar just with that leaf, I don't believe you enjoy smoking it.
Okay.
It's impossible to smoke that. Now, if I try to blend that solely with Condega, which is more like up north, close to Honduras, on the west side of Jalapa, you get a more balanced soil, rich somehow in sulfur as well, but has more magnesium in the soil. It's a completely different mineral composition. So if I try to blend this two by itself, I don't know any cigar that has a good result of blending Condega with Ometepe. It doesn't work. Okay. However, remember, and we're going to talk about it we discuss pairing, drinks and stuff. One of the most important things in a cigar, it's to salivate. We do have taste buds that are under our tongue and concentrating in the region of where we produce saliva. And they're only activated if you salivate. So, and you notice when you're about to eat something that you really like, you really enjoy, or even if it has some sugar, sugar actually helps with salivation. Immediately you start feeling your mouth getting watery. So those taste buds are opening, right? Sometimes when you smoke cigars,
salivating just looking at something I like to eat.
So believe it or not, the smoke of a cigar has the same capacity of provoking salivation if they have the right chemical components into it. When I say chemical, not artificially chemical, the natural chemicals or the natural minerals that are contained in that leaf that comes from the soil. So if I actually put a little bit of Ometepe, it can be just a half leaf of Ometepe, and I mix with Jalapa or San Andres or Cameroon, but just a half leaf, and I put them together. The salivation that I can provoke is immense.
Okay.
Just because it is a chemical reaction that you have of the magnesium with the sodium chloride and the sulfur, and that what makes you salivate and open your taste buds. So now you can understand everything else that's in a cigar.
Now that's what I noticed that in your when I smoke your MXS Dominique Wilkins, I get more saliva in my mouth with that cigar, which I think is one of the reasons why it makes me enjoy that cigar so much more, is because like you said, it's opening up the taste profile of what I should be enjoying.
And the Cubans, they knew that very well. And that's, I would say, probably the most important secret of any Cuban cigar is their capacity to build blends within the Cuban soil in different regions of Cuba to produce salivation. And there is a natural component to the leaves of Cuba, which is this excessive amount of salinity that causes salivation no matter what, and helps a lot to understand more complexity and different flavors. So I can give an example of Ace Prime cigars that makes you salivate a lot, and some that, causes you a very subtle salivation. If you get the Pichardo Habano, It's a delicious cigar. If you're having by itself and you didn't have a meal, or you just had a meal, you notice that cigar dries your mouth because of the Nicaraguan leaves there in it, which is a very present characteristic of any Nicaraguan cigar, is that really truly dries your mouth. So the cigars that comes out of Nicaragua, they really succeed in the market, and the reason why it's a boom, that's why Nicaraguan leaves are, I wouldn't say Nicaraguan manufacturers, because Ernesto Carrillo, it's from Dominican, but I tease him all the time because he won the best cigar of the year by Cigar Aficionado using 100% of Nicaraguan leaves. But actually with in his brand from Dominican. It's whoever blends a Nicaraguan leaf and can cause that salivation succeeds really well. And sometimes you do use Dominican leaves also, because the reaction of Dominican leaves with certain leaves of Nicaragua produces an amazing results, as well as wrappers and binders from Ecuador. They're very efficient to blend with Nicaraguan leaves as well. Especially, the Sumatra from Ecuador is tremendously rich in minerals and blends perfectly with many Nicaraguan leaves that we use. You have an example of the Pichardo Clásico.
Here I am. That's what I got right now.
Yep.
Yep.
There we go. So, this cigar is so unique in taste profile. It's a medium blend. But I was talking about the cigar yesterday, and I'm going to get into a little bit of pairing as well. That's a cigar. Usually, Sumatra wrappers, they blend really well with coffee. The reason why they blend well with coffee, as well as with Scotch, that's what I'm drinking today. I'm drinking a
nice,
very nice
Deluxe 12, and also with Scotch and single malts. So the reason why is because, again, the salinity of that wrapper makes it very unique, and it doesn't have too much. It's not a overpowering salinity. It's a very subtle salinity, but that salinity, when you mix with some more towards like sweet leaves, there's no such a thing as a sweet leaf. We call it sweet because the reaction in your mouth creates that impression that you're actually smoking something sweet. But when you mix those two things, that sweetness elevates as well. That's why the Pichardo, when you are like halfway through and you're having with coffee, you start feeling hints of chocolate. And that chocolate notes that you're getting, it's because of the reaction of that salinity with that sweetness of the jalapa, which creates that kind of chocolate that's not too earthy as some other Nicaraguan cigars. So that wrapper from Ecuador, the Sumatra wrapper from Ecuador, that's not over fermented, because a lot of people know Sumatra because of the dark Sumatra, the darker wrappers. But we like to use more the natural Sumatra in our products. Usually for darker cigars, we use different types of leaves. I'm not saying that we're not going to eventually try, but so far we don't have any product that carries a dark Sumatra. But it does create the reaction, it's fascinating, how you can create different flavors just by using Nicaraguan leaves, but also adding leaves from Ecuador or from Dominican or from Cameroon. Now there's a tobacco that's very unique, and just a few factories are working with. It's very small production that comes from Congo in Africa. So they are producing a new tobacco. It's a cohoho, same seed that we use down there, but it has a more even like earthier feeling to it, more even than Nicaragua, which is already known by having that kind of earthy taste.
Now, what kind of like a soil would that be? This from Africa?
I don't know. I'm not so familiar. It's a very unique. It's a very new thing, and it's very small production. I just heard about. There's a friend of mine of the Holy Smokes actually who produces, and he connected with me not too long ago. He might be watching. I don't know, because I just share. Let's start a watch party with the Holy Smokes as well.
Oh, nice.
And I was fascinated by the stories. I tried the tobacco few months ago, and I was really impressed by it. Of course, we have to test more. I haven't blended anything with this tobacco yet, but apparently Oliva is the one importing it.
Oh, okay.
From this guy who I met through Holy Smokes. But let's see. I love to try new things, and I can't wait to, develop eventually a new product with new tobacco.
How long have they been growing it there?
I have no idea, Bobby. To be very honest with you, I heard this story a long time ago, but then I put the name to the face not too long. It's not like something that it's well known. It's something very small and unique. Maybe we can. You guys should bring him to the show and interview him about his African tobacco. It would be a great show.
I think that'd be very interesting.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
The first I've heard of it.
I'll reach out to him for sure.
I got some comments here people are asking why I'm wearing a t-shirt called Papa. This is my daughters. We have like some inside jokes here, and they made me wear this t-shirt all day long today. I have to wear it until the end of the day. So it says Papa, the man, the myth, the legend.
Which they're right, no question about it.
You are a
legend.
I'm sure the intention behind make me wear this t-shirt, it's not because they think that. It's just because they want to embarrass me. That's all.
Well, we'll think it out of you. How does that? All right, we're all in agreement for you on that shirt, brother.
Yeah, I mean, getting back to what you were saying with the coffee and everything on the cigars. I mean, it's kind of been one of my favorite pairings is drinking a nice coffee with, having my cigar in hand. And actually, I think it was last year. I think I turned Ron onto it. I think, wasn't it?
Yes.
He had never had coffee with a cigar until I mentioned it to him, and he's like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's one of the best flavors I ever have."
How do you drink your coffee usually?
My coffee?
Black.
He's
Straight
black.
No sugar.
Me, I'll usually have a little cream and Splenda.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now makes sense. So, and your cream is lactose based, right? It's regular milk.
Non-dairy powder stuff.
Undairy. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I don't know exactly the reaction of that with the black coffee, but we got to be careful with coffee, and I'll explain why. Coffee is a good pairing for certain cigars, as I told you, especially the Luciano, the Pichardo Classico, and any cigars that has more high acidity in the leaves. So when you drink coffee is extremely acid, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You usually drink coffee in the morning, and you want to start your day with a mild cigar or eventually a medium cigar like the Pichardo. That coffee, because it has a high acidity, tells your brain to stop producing acid to your saliva. So you're telling your brain, hey, don't worry about it. You don't need to produce that much saliva anymore. I'm actually, he's drinking coffee, so everything is good.
Mm-hmm.
So when that happens, your saliva immediately turns into alkaline.
Okay.
And so usually our saliva, it's between 6.5 and 7 points. When it goes under 6, start becoming 5.8, actually start becoming alkaline. And when it becomes alkaline, it's the perfect momentum for a cigar that has a little more acidity. And that's why, some cigars, they blend really well with coffee, because basically you're lowering the pH of your mouth. And when you put a cigar that has a little higher acidity, you're going to feel those notes a little better, especially with the Pelo de Oro and with the Pichardo, because of the salinity of the wrapper and the binder. So now, some cigars, if you do that, you're going to just kill everything, because like if you're drinking a coffee and lowering your pH of your mouth too much, cigars that carries like, Equatorian Havana wrapper on the cold draw, you immediately feel like, hey, I'm not tasting anything here. Because you killed some of the taste buds in your mouth that only can be activated if you have certain level of acidity in your saliva. So that's why I think pairing is one of the most fascinating themes to discuss. I love pairing, but I don't like to overcomplicate pairing because it's not complicated at all. I was talking at the show yesterday with the Lights On show about pairing as well, and we dove really deep about pairing, you know, the philosophy of pairing and everything that's in it. Um, but and I'd use an example with Miguel, which is like if you don't see well, you just go and get glasses, right? If you don't hear well, you get hearing aids. What about if you don't smell well or if you don't taste well? So how do you cope with it? How do you fix it? People are different. We have what we wire differently. Some people have more sensitivity. Some people have 8,000 taste buds. Some people have only 2,000. So there are actually a huge variation uh, of how humans actually have their perceived taste. You know, I mean, some people perceive taste in a way that's completely different than some other people. But there are some common grounds. There are some commonalities that can be shared. I use an example of a song, right? So Bobby was telling me that he loves to listen to the orchestra and try to identify each one of the instruments, right? Think of a music that you really enjoy, right? And you're going to enjoy that music no matter what. Some people have the money to buy a nice Bose stereo system. I don't even know if they call that any stereo system anymore. Like a Bose sound system, which is amazing, or
Absolutely.
one of those fancy ones. So when you listen to that song that you listen your entire life, suddenly you start noticing that there are other frequencies that you never perceived before. Some actually even instruments that you never pay attention to, but now you can because the sound is brighter, everything is clear. You can understand better. You can even feel better because the bass is so deep and you feel it in your body and everything is so. Some people have that Bose in their beings, you know.
Yeah.
When it comes to taste, of course, is an analogy. So they actually can understand taste clear. You know, some people have that ability as much as some people can see things without having to wear glasses. I have to wear glasses. I'm using my contacts right now. So people are different, you know. But the question is there any way to enhance our capacity of tasting? Is there any way to create a different experience for anyone to enjoy a good cigar or a good drink? Or my answer is yes, of course there is.
So you're saying that as the
how
that you can go ahead. That you're saying that you can figure that out, and there are people out there saying that you can't train somebody to do that. What are your thoughts on training people to figure out these taste profiles?
I think I think instead of using training, I would say almost like unleashing, you know, because everybody has the potential of improving something. It is actually proven that you can actually create different create different connections to your brain, what they call the neural receptors, right? So you can actually expand that in your taste as well. So you're right about when you say, you know, can we train it? Yes, we can. But we can start with some very basic things. And that's what I'd love to go over with you guys. I was actually talking about it yesterday. And this is not much about my cigar background and more about my wine background, which I kind of merge into cigars to develop this method of explaining. Let's put it this way. So I basically, for me, there's only 3 types of pairing. Okay, and this simplifies very much, especially when it comes to cigars. The first one is called the harmonization, or they call pairing a complementary pairing. So you bring 2 elements that they have each one of them have their own identities. They can even be consumed separately, but when you bring them together, it creates a different experience. Okay, you create a new reaction. It's almost like a new product is created out of merging these 2 things. The second one, it's called the oh my god, I got a brain freeze here. The second one is called duality. So duality, because you are basically bringing two elements that are completely antagonists to each other. So they antagonize each other, and they're completely different. They only make sense when you bring them together, and that creates a reaction. And the very simple way to explain this is when I'll give you a practical example. When you're drinking a glass of scotch, like I am right now, if you drink a glass of scotch, there's two things happening in your palate. The first one, you're numbing your front palate immediately because of the alcohol. But because you're numbing your front palate, something's happening to your upper palate in the back of your throat. It's almost like when you close your eyes, you can listen better. That's why blind people, they develop more
their senses,
their ability to hear. The same thing happens with your palate. So when you numb your front palate, your upper palate in the back of your throat become extremely sensitive. It's almost like I am actually closing my eyes and now I can listen different sounds. So when you do that, now you put a cigar that actually, that naturally the back of your throat and other parts of your mouth will understand that cigar much better now, because now it's focused on a region of your mouth that actually is capturing more of the flavors. When if it was the cigar by itself, you wouldn't be able to actually understand all these flavors. But because you have that drink, everything makes sense. So that's the duality. So you create things that are completely antagonists. And when I say antagonists, is because a good example of what pairs with Scotch is the Sumatra. The Scotch a lot of sugars, the Sumatra a lot of salinity. Actually, they don't. This type of sugar, which comes from the alcohol and the cereal that this alcohol is made of, doesn't blend at all with the smoke. If you try to create one product, let's say you want to create a perfume or want to create a drink where you want to just kind of blend everything together, put in a blender, literally, and blend everything together, create a nice drink, it's going to taste horrible. So you need those two elements acting almost like fighting each other for you to have this experience.
It's like the yin and yang,
Yeah.
Pretty much. You are actually numbing some of your palate, your ability to understand flavor, to understand better a different flavor. And the third one, it's very easy. It's the mix of both. Okay, so it's when you can actually some of your taste buds are being neutralized, some of them are being enhanced, and then that experience, it's only possible because those two elements are working together, and most of the times three elements. A good example of a ultra pairing is the champagne that we can pair with the Pelo de Oro, the Pelo de Oro leaf, or some other leaves that have a high acidity, but also some salinity. So what happens there? When you drink the champagne, those bubbles that you have in the champagne, they are neutralizing some of your taste profile. The acidity of that champagne, it's telling your brain, stop producing acid, and actually turns your saliva into an alkaline saliva. Then the Pelo de Oro explodes in your mouth in flavor. And again, it's so hard to pair any cigar with champagne. I would say it's nearly impossible. Only very specific leaves and very specific combinations can provide that experience. Same thing with beers that use too much hops, right? Like the IPAs.
Yeah.
So a cigar with like the Luciano, the Traveler, blends really well with IPA beers because of that reaction. And you can find some other cigars that do as well, especially cigars that uses Connecticut wrapper. Cigars that uses Connecticut wrapper, and it's towards, and the fillers are more like, especially Dominican fillers, they tend to be a little more acid as well. So you can have a very good experience sometimes with beer and champagne, but it's rare. It's not something that you find all the time. Rum, and it's a very good experience of ultra pairing as well. You have the sugars of the rum, which is the natural sugars of the alcohol, but the sugars of the rum, the alcohol is numbing your palate. The sugars is creating a different reaction in your papillos as well. Then you have the smoke that basically you're creating a perfect environment for the smoke. And the other way around too, which is fascinating. Sometimes you smoke a cigar and the drink tastes better.
This is true. Yeah,
Very true.
No, I'm serious. Remember
you're
when
right.
we were discussing about salivation. So sometimes if I actually smoke a Dominic Wilkins, right? I smoke a Dominic Wilkins, and then you can see that's all the swab around the cigar. Your mouth is salivating, and then you bring a medium temperature double stout Guinness, and you drink it. You guys have done this before with me. You know what I'm talking about. Well, the Guinness will taste amazing in the cigar. It will complement all the flavors of the cigar. That's why it's fascinating. And Bo Cook is watching as well. He's saying, I just saw on my watch party here, and he says, same thing is true with food. Absolutely. So one of the things I love to pair is cheese, right? Cheese and wine, cheese and champagne. So the cheese and champagne and the Pilar de Oro, dude. It's the bomb.
Now, what would you say to people saying that to get a greater sense of the cigar taste and smell is that you have to retrohale it, basically breathing it out through your nose to bring on even more flavors of that cigar?
So, as always, I will be very frank. Yes, 100%. And that's how I do it. I always retrohale. And you learn how to do it. And I cannot smoke if I don't retrohale. From a health standpoint, I know we don't talk about these things here, but I find it extremely important. I wouldn't, if you smoke more than 2-3 cigars a day, you got to be careful. So another point that's very important. Do you know that the cells of our taste buds, they regenerate every 8 to 10 days? Because there's 2 receptors there. So one is a protein-based receptor, and the other one is ion receptor. Ion is energy, right? So you guys probably studied this. On the protein side, some of the flavors are mainly understood or perceived by this type of taste buds. The ion is responsible for telling your brain if that drink is too hot or it's too cold, so you don't ingest. Or if it's too spicy as well. The reason why anthropologists, they explain that it's because of we were wired to protect what we eat, and most of the poisons are sour or they are bitter, and that's why our brain already kind of rejects that. But of course, evolution, things changed, and there's a lot of flavors, things that were considered poison in the past, like really hot peppers and stuff. They're considered poison before.
Yeah.
Today it's part of our
it's become part of the culture now.
And now it's a challenge. Who can make the hottest pepper?
Yeah, but the taste buds that really understand that spiciness are the ion ones. So it's just fascinating. But see, I know we're talking about all this physiology, all these things, but if you can keep in mind that we have these 3 types of pairing, we can narrow down to a lot of cigars that are out there in the market, and with some drinks that we like to drink. It becomes kind of easy. It's almost like intuitive when you start paying attention to yourself. Mm-hmm. Just like how you asked me, how can we improve, or how can we actually improve the way we taste? I said yes, because if you know that after a very heavy meal, all the acids will be basically going towards your stomach, and your mouth will become alkaline as well. Mm-hmm. So what will happen is that you can actually now have a bolder drink, and you can have a heavier cigar. You hear that a lot, right? But why?
Sure.
So if you just pay attention to what time you smoke, if you eat something, I would say don't smoke right away. Wait just 30 minutes, 40 minutes after you eat, then you smoke that bold cigar. Mm-hmm. Then your experience will be better. You notice more flavors. And sometimes I see people smoking cigars and saying, "Oh, this cigar is horrible," but they're just having that cigar with the wrong drink at the wrong time, sometimes with an empty stomach, sometimes with a lot of food in their stomach. So those factors that needs to be taken into consideration. It's common sense. I mean, if you eat too much, you know you're going to have low acidity in your mouth. So don't go to very acidic cigars. Don't light a Luciano after having a meal. That's not going to work. Don't try to drink a champagne after a meal. It won't work. Or don't try to. I mean, another pairing that's so hard is like red wine with cigars. So there are very few cigars that you can pair with red wine, and very few red wines that can pair with cigars.
Port seems to go along with a lot. Port
Ports go better because of the sweetness in the port.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely pair port with having in mind the duality pairing, or the pairing of duality. So, because when you're drinking that port, you're throwing a lot of sugar in your mouth. If you guys ever throw just a little bit of salt in a sweet drink, how that little salt enhances the sweetness, and the opposite as well. You throw just a little sugar on that amazing Italian pasta salsa that our families make. Just put a little sugar just to break the acidity. You're going to notice that all the salts, the natural salt of the tomato and the onions and everything that's in that sauce, they kind of bright more, like they are more present just because of that little sugar. So if I throw too much sugar, just think with me. If I get a spoon of sugar and put it in my mouth, and I want to have an experience with a different drink or with some food, try to exercise, like what would go with that amount of sugar in my mouth, because my mouth is now full of sugar to a point where it's too much. Like, it's good because the alcohol makes it a little easier, and it's that dessert, a little sweet that you need. That's why you always drink port in a very short glass, because you're not supposed to drink a full glass of port. It's just a little bit. Right. So when you drink that little bit and your mouth is sweet and you have the alcohol there, what exactly would make sense with that cigar?
Want salt. It's looking for salt.
That sweetness, it's looking for a compensation of salt. You're absolutely right. And if I want to enjoy that port more, I'm not going to put a spoon of salt in my mouth. I'm going to put a little bit of salt. That little bit of salt will make that port wine taste much better. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sure.
And then you create a harmony. So it cannot be a cigar that's full in salinity. But if you get a subtle salinity with a Sumatra wrapper, or if you get a subtle salinity coming out of a Cameroon wrapper, or sometimes a subtle salinity on the San Andres wrapper, which is a sweet result, but there is salinity in that wrapper, a lot of salinity. So the San Andres for me is the best wrapper, one of the best leaves to blend with port, as well as with late harvest wines like the ice wines and so forth.
Well, then there's also been a couple of times, like for me, when I've, being what I do for a living and everything, sometimes I don't eat a meal or don't eat properly, and I have a bold cigar or something that has a lot of nicotine, and it'll start making me feel ill. I'll usually take a spoonful of sugar, and it like neutralizes my sickness to no end. It's like, a phenomenon to me that's just amazing, that because I think it's like the sugar or the cigars, the nutrients in the cigar or whatever, like lowering my blood sugar too well to making me actually feel ill, and I put some sugar into my system, brings me right back around.
Yeah, it's like a jolt, it just brings you right back.
Yeah, I'm not a doctor nor a scientist. I do have a guessing of why, but I noticed, because I have diabetes, so see, I have my sensor here. I check my blood sugar all the time. When I smoke a cigar, my sugar goes down immediately.
Okay.
If I want to lower my sugar, smoke a cigar. But I'm not advising anyone to do the same.
It works for you. That's all that matters.
Disclaimer: please do not do this at home.
You're gonna get sued by someone. No, the reason I believe why, it's because again, sometimes you don't know all the fights that happens in our body, right? So, and the coronavirus is a very good example. So why, people get fever, why they get so ill, why they feel so bitten up, is because your system's trying to fight that virus. And that's what kind of creates some agitation in your bloodstream. And then you have the fever because your heartbeat it's actually faster, and you get fever as a reaction. But if you think on the level of hormones in your body, what makes your saliva alkaline? What makes your saliva acid? And what changes what you sweat, what you don't sweat? I mean, all these things that are happening in your body are caused by, it's always a reaction to something, right?
Yeah.
There are certain foods that, like we're talking about spicy foods. If you eat a lot of pepper, what happens with your body?
I sweat like
You
crazy.
start sweating like crazy.
Yeah,
Me too, man.
You elevate the temperature of your body. You start producing hormones that are, what they are. So they are really they are reactive to that pepper.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing, like when you eat a lot of garlic, you start feeling like and people say, oh, I'm feeling like I'm sweating. The garlic is coming through my I'm smelling garlic.
Yeah.
Pores.
Yeah.
Through the pores. Actually, from a physiological standpoint, that doesn't make sense at all, because the garlic you're eating, it's going to your stomach, and the enzymes of that garlic, when it reaches your bloodstream, it's just not there anymore, that smell. But why do we smell? Because we are producing different pheromones, different odors that are caused by that reaction. So I think there's something, that reaction of the nicotine of the tobacco with our glandules, that produces that reaction of lowering the sugar. I think it's something, I don't know what it is. I tried to research. I asked a lot of doctors' friends. I do have lots of doctors that are very close friends, and nobody knows. Nobody could give me a reasonable answer. So I just came up with this theory. I don't know if it's true or not, but you're absolutely right. So especially if you smoke too fast, or if you smoking a cigar that has a huge concentration of nicotine, there's a lot of lihiera in there, you get that buzz, and it goes. Sometimes the buzz is good, sometimes it's really bad. Especially if you smoke too fast, and that buzz can give you the same sensations also as if you were with a, low blood sugar.
Yeah, definitely.
I like a very strong cigar, and I have had some cigars that obviously have had so much nicotine in them that it actually caused a bad reaction, where I felt nauseous. I started getting shaky, and it was very unpleasant, obviously.
Yeah.
And it takes a while to get that feeling out of yourself,
I know a lot of people who love the extremely strong, punch in your face kind of cigars. I personally don't like it, and I actually don't even make any of this type of cigars. Usually the tobacco is extremely raw. So, and also the tobacco is, when you just build a cigar, it's just lihiera in there. There's no space for flavors. We talk about pairing here. I mean, the cigar by itself is just awful. It's just nicotine, and it's harsh, and it's bitter. It's like,
it's not enjoyable.
I love pepper in my taco, man.
Yeah.
But just don't give me a pepper for me to kind of bite and chew. I don't want to chew that pepper. I want to enjoy that pepper in my food, and with the right proportion.
Right.
Yeah.
To make it taste good.
Yeah, I've eaten stuff that was so hot that it was terrible. I couldn't enjoy the meal because all I had was like heat, like a flame in my mouth, and I couldn't get any of the flavors of the food itself. It was just overpowering, and you gotta have some sort of balance to
For
it.
me, I think the heat and a certain level of heat brings out the flavor
Sure.
of certain foods. It'll enhance that experience.
But when you have
too much, obviously.
too much, then there's no flavor anymore. It's just like putting a torch in your mouth,
Yeah.
That's why it's called spices. So you just put a little bit to create the. Again, the same process as we discussed here about the cigars and the pairings. So when you're cooking, you put the right amount of salt to make sure that he enhances the flavor,
Right.
whatever you're eating, and so is with different spices and stuff. So,
Yeah.
Luciano, what would you recommend? With eating, especially Italians, we always had that course, that intermezzo, where you would have that lemon sorbet to kind of cleanse the palate. Is there any way to cleanse the palate when you're smoking a cigar so that you can kind of start from scratch, especially if you're doing tasting?
Yeah, so we do
Have
that
a
a lot at the
cracker,
factory. We do that a lot at the factory. So one tip that I can give tonight is have a meal before you going to do your tasting. Let's say you're going to smoke 3-4 different types of cigar. Have your meal, wait for 1 hour, then start doing your tasting, because then you almost you're going to be able to reset quicker.
Okay.
And one of the things that worked for me, and actually it's not my idea, this is the old Cuban method of resetting. It's tea.
Tea?
Okay.
Iced tea.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Better.
I love iced tea.
Iced tea is very good. Any tea, and it cannot
unsweetened.
It cannot just be unsweetened. It needs a little bit of sugar, not too much. It cannot be a lot of sugar. A little bit of sugar and tea, that cleans your palate like nothing else.
Yeah,
also,
we're not talking about Georgia sweet tea here, Bob. We're just.
If you can have both tea and sparkling water,
okay,
that's what I do. I do like tea, sparkling water, tea, then I go to the next one. Then tea, sparkling water, tea, I go to the next one.
Okay,
that's interesting. Okay,
Luciano, I know we kept you on for an hour, and you probably have some family things.
Just have a family dinner.
Yeah, it's called dinner.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on here. We'll let you go so that you can go enjoy dinner with the family. We appreciate all your knowledge that you've brought to our show here tonight. We look forward to getting you back on here. So.
My pleasure, Ben. My pleasure.
Thank you, Luciano, as always.
I see a lot of questions here in my watch party, guys. Just shoot your question through via messenger, and I'll respond directly to you. Or ask these guys; they know a lot too. They're putting me on a spot here, but they have a lot of knowledge about different things.
Well, we were asking a lot of questions that we know the audience would want to ask. So we're trying to be proactive for you and try to get all that information in a short period of time. And I'll talk to you tomorrow, and hopefully I know next week you might be getting out of the house a little bit. So I don't know what your availability is, but we'll talk and figure that out. But we do want to thank you and
have a great vacation. Enjoy the salt water.
Enjoy the ocean.
Yes.
Yeah. Say hello to Rocky Patel for us, and we'll get Rocky on too. Tell him.
Yeah.
Sounds good. You guys
thank you, Luciano.
Thank you.
Have a good evening, Luciano.
Folks, stay on. We are not
dinner.
finished with the show. Obviously, it's a small segment with the co-owner of Ace Prime, Luciano, and you've seen a lot of him. I know that, but as you can see, the wealth of knowledge and the information that he brings to the tobacco industry, and hopefully you've learned quite a bit from what he has talked about.
Absolutely.
But a lot of that basically also talking about tobacco. We do talk about that with pipe tobacco also.
Yes.
And there's so much to talk about that we will bring into our other shows. We're going to bring in pipe tobacco and pairing and
David Ellsworth. David Ellsworth says he's got some news about the show going on right as we are speaking. Wow. So if he wants to share that news with us, we'll get that out on this show right now. So if you can, David, let us know what you got so we can blast it out here tonight.
Put it on Facebook. Any of you guys that are on and you want to ask questions and talk about what's happening, please. We're reading all the Facebook comments, but obviously we didn't want to interrupt Luciano with as he was going. We have pages of people making statements and talking about pasta. But Dave, if you would type away, and we will pass that information to our audience as it comes on. We had a tremendous crowd here on tonight. I mean, it's unbelievable how many people were jumping on. Well, and it's
because knowledge is king. I mean, people want to learn.
And Frank's backgrounds every week are cracking me up here.
So yeah,
there's the three chooches
right there.
There's four. I see four.
You're the little guy in the back there.
I'm the one I haven't developed yet.
We see you. You're in the corner trying to sneak in on it.
Crouching down like incognito.
How are things going in North Carolina there, Frank?
Dave, actually, I wanted to talk to you about accommodations. I really don't know the area. Obviously, I definitely want to come to the show this year. So I need some information about accommodations, and hopefully you can supply that. I don't know what hotels around.
Let's talk to the people and tell what we're talking about here. Andre, how you doing?
Andre's back.
Hey,
Andre.
My nemesis is back.
But what Dave is talking about, folks, is the a fantastic weekend, October 2nd and 3rd in Richmond. That
the Richmond Pipe Club hosts their annual show,
which will be at Sutliff.
It's going to be held in the Sutliff
factory.
Yes, and it's quite a show. A lot of people who have been pipe smokers for many years know the show, and we also.
Dave
stopped for a couple of years.
Dave says the lodging info will be in his posts, so keep a watch on his Facebook posts.
All right, thanks, Dave. We'll be looking forward to that. Andre, maybe the hotels aren't that far. I don't know. We'll see what.
We want to be as close as possible. So I think Dave will come into your house, actually, right?
No, he said last time everybody is already. His beds are all tied
up. As long as there's a presidential suite for us, then we can all go. I require nothing less than the presidential suite.
Yes, it has to be.
But anyway, stay here with folks. Bob, you want to show that pipe again? So we are at the segment with Cousin Frank, and he's going to do the segment of Stump the Chooch. And we're going to have Frank ask the three of us 3 questions, so this way you understand where his head's at and how you're going to answer. The section is going to be, Frank will tell you, all right, this is going to be for the audience. And it's the pipe that Bob just showed you. It's a pipe donated to us by the Chicago Pipe Club, Tim Garrity, actually. And explain the pipe again, Bob.
It's a really nice pipe. Actually, it's a black rusticated, a little bit smaller billiard. It's a billiard shape, but very, very nice. I would say it's probably 6 inches in length. A little fishtail on the bit, kind of nice. Very lightweight. Nice pipe. Very nice.
Hey, Ronnie,
pipe.
I got some information for you.
Nice bowl.
Hey, Ronnie. I got the information for you. So David Ellsworth writes, the Sutliff Corpse Pipe Show gathering at Sutliff Tobacco was such a success last year that we're going to expand it to 2 days. This year it will start on Friday, October 2nd, and continue on to Saturday, October 3rd. Pipe collections, vintage tobacco, Sutliff factory tours, VIP blending seminars per Jensen of McBaron, blending seminars with Jeremy Reeves of Cornell and Deal, and Russ Outlet of Pipes and Cigars. There will be slow smoke competition, Brian Levine, Q&A with special guest Mark Irvin, Peterson presentation, beer and food and social events throughout both days. And of course, smoking will be permitted throughout the show except during factory tours. We will also have a show hotel. Block room rates will be available at Omni Richmond Hotel, 100 South 12th Street, Richmond, Virginia, 23220. For reservations, call 1-800 The Omni. Group name, Conclave of Richmond Pipe Smokers. 2020 Annual Exposition Room Block. Save the date. Make sure you clear your calendar for Friday, October 2nd and Saturday, October 3rd. Just remember that due to the FDA changes and fact that we plan to have beer available, that all attendees must be 21 years age or older. Make sure you check your Facebook pages and websites for the information from the club.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, that should be awesome for all you folks that are listening. It is a really big build up on the Sutliff side.
Well, we've had a couple of our club members go there,
yes.
and they raved about it. They had a really great time. And I'm sure people are looking forward to it even more so this year because, unfortunately, the Chicago Pipe Show was canceled because of, well, the craziness that's happening right now.
Yeah, pretty much every show got canceled this year.
Every show, exactly.
Las Vegas in itself has been canceled. So
but hopefully
people
by
are
then,
dying to do something for everybody.
Hopefully by then, this show will take place, and we're all itching to get there.
People are itching to get Frank on now with Stump the Chooch. Frank.
Yes, let's go, Frank.
You ready? Have you done your homework?
I always do my homework. Listen, I don't come on here prepared. See?
All right. So we're not going to be chooches tonight.
Come on. All right, you three chooches. On this day, I love history, right? That's what this segment is. It's mostly a little history lesson for everybody, and you get a little trivia as well. So on this day in history, and what's today's date, Bob? Let's see if you get that right.
I don't even know.
May 26th.
May 26th.
Ronnie gets the thumbs up. Bob?
The thumbs down.
All the days are the same to me. So
the only reason I know it's May 26th is because tomorrow HBO Max launches, and I am set to start streaming some Friends, some Bang Theory, and so I'm ready for tomorrow.
All right.
Well, did I hear Bang Bang Theory?
Big Bang
is that
Theory.
The Chinese version
Yes.
of the Big Bang Theory?
Yes.
That it is. All right, Chooch Master.
All right, here, on this date in history, Germanicus of Rome celebrates his victory over the Who. Not the band, the Who.
The Who weren't around yet, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Who's on first?
Yes. Over who?
Who's on first?
Second, third base. Germanicus of Rome celebrates his victory over the blank.
I'm gonna say
On this day.
the Greeks. I don't know.
The Egyptians.
All right, Chooches, I'll give you a hint. It sounds an awful like the guy's name.
Well, what's the guy's name?
You guys are really terrible. You
I
can't
have
even
no
remember
idea.
the guy's name?
I have no idea. Denmark. I don't know.
Over the Germans.
Oh, the Germans.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Germans. It was Germanicus of Rome.
Yes.
You're making these too hard here, Frank. You gotta dumb the chooch level down here.
I gotta have another drink.
Listen, you guys have to do a little bit better studying. I tell you, just don't go home and sit in the corner and do very.
I got too many cigars to smoke.
Come on. We're old men. We forget a lot now.
I haven't been in school in a very, very long time.
I know that, and it shows.
And it shows. When you're in the 60s, not much matters. Slip back then.
Oh boy.
All right, listen.
I'm
Okay,
doing
here's
Uncle
another one.
Leo. I'm an old man. I forgot.
Thanks, Andre. You got it. We are a bunch of chooches.
Yes.
Exactly.
And Andre, Frank is the biggest chooch of all.
Now listen. A little bit of presidential history. 1868. On this date, which president is acquitted of all charges?
Andrew Jackson.
Impeachment?
Andrew Jackson.
All right. Andrew Johnson, not Jackson.
Johnson. AJ, I was close.
Andrew Jackson's on the 20.
Give him a little hee-haw.
Exactly. Boy, oh boy. All right, let's go one more for you three chooches.
All right, because Andre is ready.
This is just for you three chooches, but Andre, you'll probably guess all of them anyway. Listen, on this date in history, a patent is filed in the United States for what bomb?
H-bomb.
H-bomb.
Nice. See?
There you go.
I give you guys pretty easy ones too. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Only because I like that era. All right.
You know, come on. I do a good job just, giving everybody a little bit of, a little. Okay. On this date in history.
Hey, is this still for us? Or
one more for us? You three chooches. One more.
All right. One more, folks.
All right. On this date in history, 1977.
New wave.
What movie debuts?
Star Wars.
Oh, look at Kyle.
There you go.
Give him a hand. Look at Kyle.
Good. We did good.
All right. In a galaxy far, far away.
Wow, look at Kyle.
That's right.
I like it.
I know my sci-fi.
All right, folks. Go ahead, Kyle. What was that?
I said, I know my sci-fi.
All right. Well, here it is, folks. Get yourself ready. You just saw what it's all about. We are looking at the Facebook responses. It's the first person. You get about 30 seconds. Here's this week's pipe.
You see the pipe? You like the pipe?
You like the pipe.
You like the
pipe?
That's a nice pipe.
It's a good pipe. You like the pipe. You wanted the pipe.
All right. Listen, I'm going to give you guys a little quick history, but the question's not in my first description.
What?
I'll tell you when the question's coming.
Okay.
All right. On this date in history, Charles II in 1670 and Louis XIV signed a secret treaty in Dover, England, ending hostilities between England and France. In honor of Louis XIV, the most expensive bottle of cognac is Louis XIII. Why? What is the reason that it is the most expensive bottle of cognac?
Wow.
Reason.
Wow.
What is the reason why it's the most expensive bottle of cognac, folks? All right. Go ahead, Kyle. Put the timer on.
What is the reason?
A little louder, brother.
You see? You think I fool around here?
No, you definitely you hit a good
This is
one.
this is a very high production value. Look at my backgrounds. Look at the questions. I mean,
I know, Frank. It's you got it all going on, man.
You're getting better, buddy. You're getting better.
Well, that's what practice does, and that's what COVID does.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I wish I could afford a bottle of Louis right now.
I got
Hurry up, folks. Hurry up. Come on.
I've got
Another
nobody.
20 seconds we'll give you.
We got nobody even trying.
Say it again.
Nobody's
We're
attempting.
running out of time because I don't like giving pipes away easily.
No.
I got nobody asking.
Andre's giving us an answer.
Uh-oh.
It is blended with over 12,000.
Tell them I don't like answers directly from Wikipedia.
It is blended with over 12,000, aged from 50 to 100 years.
All right, 12,000. First of all, is wrong, so I'm going to say it's wrong.
David Ellsworth says something like 1,200 vineyards went into it.
1,200 individual eau de vie from Grand Champagne vineyards, ranging from 50 to 100 years of age. Andre, you lose.
No, he both. You know what? They both.
Dave got it
Dave
too.
had the vineyards, but Andre had. He goes, I answered.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do.
But Andre did give. No, I got another pipe like that. No, you know what?
Now we
both answered.
Now we got a coin flip. All right, Andre
One
and
guy
Dave.
gets the bit, and one guy gets the bowl.
Perfect.
All right, Andre and Dave. You call it in the air, heads or tails.
Oh wow! Yeah, they both. One, I got them on two separate links over here, so they did answer it both.
Both get it.
They both get it. I'll get the other pipe, and one for Andre and one for Dave. Dave, send me, PM me your address. I already have Andre's on file.
Yeah, because Ron still
we know
has 12
Andre.
of his pipes sitting in his house.
What was that, guys?
It said Ron has 12 of Andre's pipes still sitting in his house.
No.
One of the 12 you already.
Male.
That's really sucks. Now we got to give away 2 pipes tonight.
Well, Andre says I'll take the bit.
He's just chomping at the bit.
Very good. Very good.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Very good. Very good.
Okay. We got 2 winners tonight. Well, that breaks up this little run that we've had. Nobody's gotten a pipe in 3 weeks.
I know.
Dave says.
No, Luciano got it last week.
Oh, that's right. Luciano got it. Yeah.
And then a week before that was Dean, one of our Mason brothers.
Dave says go ahead and give the pipe to Andre. He's got too many.
Oh, that was nice.
Andre says he's passing on it?
No, I'm gonna send one to Dave, and I'm gonna send one to Andre. And yes, Andre, see that, Kyle? He said, Andre, I got them. All right, you guys. I told you. I even had the receipt.
I don't see Andre's responses because he's not in my room of watch party. So.
All right, I got that. Congratulations. We got
two winners tonight.
Very good. That's
2 wieners.
I took it easy on the crowd this week.
There you go.
Well, you did, Frank.
I did.
Now it's costing us 2 pipes.
My fault.
It really is. Come on.
All right.
Anyway, folks.
Well, I'm glad we got some winners tonight.
Yes, we did. Dave, again, please send me your PM and I will take care of that for you, for your address. Folks, I guess that's pretty much it for the show. Really hope you guys enjoyed the first segment, and it was, to us, very, very informative.
You got school.
We definitely got school big time. So we weren't chooches tonight. We were definitely students.
Yes.
So
yes,
we want to wish you guys all a great week. And
hey, really quick, Ronnie. Really quick, Ronnie. Before you sign off, we're gonna give a shout out to our sponsors real quick. So we're gonna give a shout out to DAV out of New York City. We have RNA Treasures out of Tampa Bay, Florida. And we have our hometown here, Chicagoland Pipe Collectors Club, as our sponsors. If you would like to be a sponsor or a part of the show, please PM us, DM us, get us in contact with the information, and we'll let you know how you can be a sponsor on our show.
And if you want to be a member of the Chicago Pipe Club, hey, check us out. Go to our Facebook page, go to our webpage, contact us directly. Right now, of course, we're not having any socials. We're not having any meetings, but I'm sure that's going to be opening up soon.
We're just not having a lot of anything. Summer's canceled, folks.
Summer's canceled? Oh, that sucks. Why can't we just cancel winter?
I'm taking a scrap on 2020. I think 2020 just never happened. We're just going to slide right into 2021.
Sounds good.
Hey, poor Goni says that he felt that we had him blocked. But I just responded to Goni and say, no, well, we did see him on the show, but sorry, Goni.
What happened?
We did not pick you up on that one, brother.
Yeah, did not see any
when you come
answers.
into the studio here, we'll have a pipe for you. And hopefully we can find some Gurkha tobacco to smoke it with.
There you go. There you go.
We are looking for it. But folks, again, we want to thank you for all your support.
I got 2 of them, Goni. I got two tins.
Okay, he's got one for you then.
I ain't giving them up.
Wow.
Check on board. If you have any questions, our email is thegreatlakesmokeshow@aol.com. We're hoping to see you all soon at your local lounges. And hopefully that will happen real soon.
And we'll see you next week. Same time, same station.
Same.
There you go.
Same bet time. Same bet
Have a
channel.
great smoke.
Good night, everybody.
Salute, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Ciao.
Stay well.